why don't you go and help her out and see what was going on? So I went there to the lobby, and who was waiting in the lobby? Of course, my wife.
Your wife.
Yeah, which is still at this moment again, we don't really like each other.
Well,
we don't.
Nemesis, yeah.
Yeah, so we saw each other, and I remember her face as much as probably she remembered mine. Like, wow, you really?
Antonio, thank you. It's always nice to talk with you. Because we did this last week, wasn't it last week?
A couple of weeks ago, yes.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I had some trouble with my cameras, which happens every now and then. So, Antonio, you've been kind enough to come back again.
No, thank you.
Because we spoke for an hour and something minutes, almost 20 minutes that time.
Yes.
So it makes it good because this time, we basically know what we're going to talk about, how we're going to go through. Yeah. So let's start off with the very first thing, which is, where were you born?
Okay, I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, so I'm Venezuelan. And I'm from a small family. My mom, my dad, and my sister.
Your sister older or younger?
Is older. My sister is
How
older,
many years
3
older?
years older than me.
Are you guys close?
Well, we used to be, but I've been out of Venezuela for so long, to tell you the truth, so I haven't really been there for a while. Right. I keep in touch, of course, and we make sure. But
does she have kids?
No, she's single. She's single. Yes.
Does she live with your parents?
She lived with my mom. Unfortunately, my dad passed away when I was a child, 9 years old. So my mom is basically being the sole parent in my family.
But do you remember when your father passed?
Oh yes. Unfortunately, yes. It was an accident, so yeah, it brought a lot of emotions at that moment, and of course still. So I was 9 years old, and of course it was the time that we needed to raise up a family. So my mom, again, she became the sole parent, but at the same time we became.
What did your father do?
He was a travel agent. Okay. So when times were when you needed to go to an office to buy you plane tickets or your trip tickets and all that. So my dad was that person that you will go to make it happen. Okay. And I think indirectly or directly, I think I got what I do every day now from him. Even though I don't recall that much, but I remember him making things happen for people, and that's one of the things that I do.
Did he ever take you to the office with him?
Yeah, for sure. He owned his own travel agency, so yes, I remember a few days spending time with him in the office. Again, seeing people super excited about what was coming or what was about to happen, buying these tickets that will take them somewhere else, to another country, for a journey, right? So I remember that. I remember a little bit of those really, really, I would say, service part of my dad's life.
Did your wife take it over? I mean, not your wife, I'm sorry. Did your mother take it over?
No. My mom is a school teacher, so she was in a completely different career path, and she was, again, also in love with her job.
Wait, you told, now I'm starting to remember because I talk with a lot of people on the different podcasts. Yeah. So you told me your mother refused to she made sure that you were never in the class she was teaching.
Yes. Well, I don't know if refuse is the right word, but we agree on not doing it. Yes,
not
exactly.
to do that.
Yes.
And then when you were about to come into a class, she retired.
Yes, exactly. That's correct. So I don't know if it refused, but we both agree. I went to the same school from elementary all the way to high school, and my mom was there through all the whole years.
Were the times ever hard because she's a one-income person? Was it difficult for her?
Well, I will say so. I will definitely say so. I think we then needed to limit some things within our family, of course. But again, we grew up to appreciate what she was doing and how much she was doing actually to keep the family going. Right?
But how's she doing now?
Oh, she's all right. She's okay. She's in this city that is called Valencia, which is like 2 hours away from Caracas. Mm-hmm. Again, it's something that unfortunately Venezuelans deal with it every day. So they're very resilient on that. They just need to make sure that they have what they need to live every day. It's a sad story for such a beautiful country, but that's where we are.
And the thing is, it's not only there; it happens worldwide.
Yes, unfortunately, yes, unfortunately, yes.
And if you're in certain areas you can be in, and it's when people feel a lack, when they feel they don't have enough, or they feel that. That's the sad part. Let me ask you this: so you stayed there till you were 18. At 18, where did you go?
So when I was 18, I enrolled myself into a hotel school to learn hospitality more professional.
You decided to do that?
Again, I felt that always kind of the calling, let's say, or the connection with service industry. I wanted to make sure I do something related with service. Why? I'm not really sure. Again, it might be something connected with when I was a kid with my dad dealing with the travel agency. But I felt the connection with the service industry.
What did you do in school-wise? What were your favorite subjects in school?
Well, my mom was a social science teacher, so I would say those: history, geography, economics. So probably that. I was more into that side than mathematics or more analytics. But I don't think I connect that with my career. I felt when I joined actually the hotel school, this was a hotel school that you needed to live in. So it was a boarding school that you actually...
But didn't you have to qualify to get?
Yeah. So you had to go through a test that lasted like a week, and then you basically got in.
And you passed it right away?
And then I went there the first time. Yeah. So again, I was really into that. I was feeling that, okay, this is what I want to do. So I moved from Caracas to another city, which is around 12 hours away from Caracas, and moved into this hotel school.
No English yet?
No English yet, all Spanish. All Spanish. And then this hotel school, basically, again, it was a boarding school, so you need to live in a hotel. And while you were learning, you were also practicing and cooking and servicing and so many other things.
Right.
So being there, it became the opportunity to actually improve my English and have an experience and an internship outside Japan. Outside Venezuela.
Wait, they had you teach... They taught you English at the same time?
Yeah, they did. They did some basic English and French in the hotel school.
Because, then you were dealing with real customers?
Yes, you were dealing with real customers. So a lot of them were
from overseas?
Yes, but again, my English was quite basic, was really, really basic. So I didn't really have probably even the courage to do it. So I will say probably limit myself much to my Spanish. And yes, I was trying to learn a little bit of both English and French. Then this opportunity came up to move to Bahamas and work there for. It was actually a 6 months internship that it was extendable.
But did they when you went to the Bahamas, then you'd have to know English?
Not really. I could do that in Spanish, so I did that with
really Bahamas?
Basic. Yeah. Well, I learned the hard way. So when I got to Bahamas, my English was again neutral. It was none. Then I started working in the kitchen. I was again 18 years old. I was working in the kitchen. Hardest part of that was I was working for a really good chef. His name was Antoine, but he was French, so his accent was also super strong. And I was trying to catch up his English, but also it was for me very hard to understand what he was saying. And my second boss was Italian, so I have another completely different accent, trying to learn what they were saying, and so I have a really hard time trying to get it.
And you told me the story last time where you couldn't understand what he was saying until you go get something.
Yes.
And you come back with maybe cheese. And you say, no. And then you go back again, you come back with celery. And you say, no.
Yes, so I will go back to the walking, because again, it was cooking. I was a cook. So I will go back to the walking and coming up with 3 or 4 things. And please show me which one you want. And like that, kind of start growing my vocabulary. Okay, this is what you want. Okay, what's the name of this? And then kind of from there, start working on it.
Okay.
So
this is all happening within a matter of months, because you were 18.
Yeah, I was 18. So I was 6 months in that hotel. It was in a Club Med. So I worked there for 6 months, and then I extended for another bit more. So I stayed there for, I would say, around 8 months altogether. Then I realized, okay, it's probably I want to look for something else. So I went back to Venezuela, and I met
after the Bahamas.
Yes, after the Bahamas, I came back to
your extension took you to the Bahamas.
Yes, my hotel school basically gave me the internship to the Bahamas
for 4 months.
For 8 months.
But you did how many months first at the hotel school?
A year, more or less. So I started this hotel at 17. I left Venezuela. I left Venezuela on 18 years.
I got you. Okay.
So then I went back to Venezuela, kind of looking, okay, what's next? What can I do next? And then that's where actually I met who is my wife today. So I met my wife in the hotel school. She's Japanese, but she grew up back in Venezuela. My father-in-law used to have, my father-in-law, but Japan, when Venezuela was such a great country and rich country, there was a lot of investments from different countries. So there was a big investment of Japanese businesses in Venezuela, minerals and oil and things like that. So my father-in-law used to work for a company that basically explored minerals from Venezuela called Cobeseco, or Cobelco right now. So they used to live in Venezuela. So I met my wife at that moment, of course, we just met, in the hotel school. And we were very competitive. So I really didn't have we were in the same class. We actually went completing all the classes. We were cooking together, we were serving together, but we were very competitive with each other. So we didn't really have any connection. Right. She was in her things, I was in mine, and we didn't really have any connection on that.
No, wait, let me find out about her again. So she was raised in Venezuela?
Yes.
So her first language was Spanish?
Well, her first language is Spanish, yes.
But she can speak Japanese?
She speaks Japanese, and she went to high school in the U.S., so her English is also...
It's good.
Yeah.
So you guys were competitive while you're in this school?
Yes.
You knew each other, but you didn't know each other.
Yeah, we knew each other, but we tried to kind of. She probably would say we kind of hate each other, even though it was no hate. But we were very competitive.
Were you two the top of your class?
She was, and I was trying maybe to catch up. She was, definitely she was. I won't consider nowadays like that. But again, I was very into that. Right. Yeah. I was really into hospitality overall, and I wanted to make sure I kind of catch with her.
Right.
Anyway, so again, even though we were in the same class, we tried to avoid being together. We had different circles, etc., etc.
So you guys weren't dating or anything?
No. We were
the furthest thing away.
As far away as that.
She was just okay, guys.
Yes.
So then what happened from
then
there?
I got another opportunity now, this time to go to Hilton Head in South Carolina in the U.S. Again, my English was better, so I kind of actually now apply for a better internship. I had to say that my English was better, even though it was not really yet in the level that we needed. I learned English from a French and an Italian boss in Bahamas, where everybody spoke with a really strong Jamaican accent. So it was really, really hard for me to move to Hilton Head Island, where people were actually, why you speak that way? You're from Venezuela, etc., etc. So kind of that's where basically, okay, I need to put a little more emphasis in how I'm gonna speak and how I'm gonna talk to other to members and guests. Right. So I got the opportunity to move into an internship in Hilton Head for a company called Crown Plaza. So Crown Plaza now belongs to Intercontinental. Okay. At that moment they were below by Holiday Inn. So at this moment it's Intercontinental. Then I started working again from the ground up. I was working as first of all as a busser, just helping cleaning, and basically the internship will take you all the way to an assistant restaurant manager, and that's basically what I did. Okay. So I spent almost 2 years in that internship. So even though the internship was meant to be for 6 months, I was having so much fun and I was learning so much that I kind of keep extending it, and then they allowed me because the credit is well worth it. Again, I was growing into this company. So I was having a lot of fun and was learning a lot.
But don't they have a grading system too for all the people
there? So you
kept on doing well. You kept on doing well.
And Hilton Head at that moment, I don't know nowadays, but Hilton Head was created as a resort area for training and developing of hotel business. So in the case that when I went there, my hotel was like that, but not only that one. All of the hotels around the neighborhood were actually training facilities for people like me who wanted to learn more about the business. Right. So we have people from the Hilton coming over and they basically learning how to do that. And so we have people from all over the country, all over the place. So in my house, we have 5 different nationalities living together in the same house. People from England, people from Hungary, I'm Venezuelan, another Mexican, and a guy from Germany. So we were all living in a house while we were actually getting trained for hospitality. So it was great experience overall. And we had the opportunity to serve celebrities, and because again, Hilton Head is a resort, it's a destination for people like that. So we're able to serve President Clinton a couple of times for his New Year's festivities and things like that. So we were able actually to experience some of that high end. So moving along with that experience, then I was there I was probably the only Venezuelan who lasted that long. I keep extending it because I felt it was a lot of learning for me. So I stayed there for long enough to become kind of the longest Venezuelan in the island. In that internship, right?
Now I remember.
Yeah. So then I was in the hotel and somebody called me up, my boss probably called me up and said, there is a new Venezuelan coming in. Why don't you go and help her out and see what was going on? So I went there to the lobby, and who was waiting in the lobby? Of course, my wife. Which is still at this moment again, we don't really like each other.
Well, nemesis,
so we saw each other, and I remember her face as much as probably she remembered mine, like, wow, you really? So we both were shocked to see each other now in a completely different country, in a completely different environment. Like, out of all these other people that were in that university, it has to be you. And probably she felt the same way with me. Like, really, out of all these people, had to be you.
So you went to take her around? So
yeah, I take her. So I say, okay, I'm here. I will help you, and I will guide you through whatever you need. And she was going to work in the same hotel, so we said, okay, I'm gonna I should give you the orientation of the hotel. I pick you up tomorrow morning. We take you around the town, and we get you anything you need to settle down. Okay, then that's what we did. So the hotel, of course, arranged rent a car. So I went to the rent a car to get the rent a car, and of course we had reserved a compact car.
Right.
So when I got to the rent a car, they say, actually, we don't have any more compact. Okay, so what are you gonna do? And he said, well, actually, what we had this convertible Camaro. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, but it's the same price. Yeah, so you can just take it because that's what we have. So of course, I took that car and I went to pick up Susana, my wife, right? So of course, she completely was like, whoa, what are you doing? And of course, long story short, now we've been married for 23 years.
That's still the deal. Yeah. You owe it to a Camaro, a convertible Camaro. Wow.
Yeah.
You've been married how long now?
23 years.
23 years. Yes. And how many kids?
We have 2 kids. Sara and Daisuke. Okay. Sara is 15 now, and Daisuke is 14.
All right. Yes. So after that experience, so you guys worked together for how long?
So, okay, then she actually stick to her goals and her plans. So she stayed there for 6 months, while I actually continued there for a couple more months additional. Then after that, I decided, okay, it was enough time. I learned as much as I could from that experience. My wife, Susana, went back to Venezuela to finish her school and get the graduation going on in that side. Then I decided, okay, now I would like to go back to Venezuela and try to bring some of this knowledge that I have now in this level of hospitality and work in a hotel in Venezuela. So I went back to Venezuela at the same time. We met again in Venezuela. Susana was already there. And then I got a job into another hotel chain, quite big in Venezuela, where I worked as a manager also for a restaurant. And that was kind of my point of, okay, let me try to get something that, something that I just learned. How can I bring it back? Now I was able to speak English. I was able to deal with customers, et cetera. So I wanted to do that for a while. So we decided, okay, what we're going to be. We are already talking about, okay, we are going to move ahead and
before
we will get married.
First, were you guys boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah. So after the Camaro, let's say the Camaro, probably a few months after, we then became boyfriend and girlfriend, right? So we started a relationship in Hilton Head.
Oh wow!
And then she went back to Venezuela. I stayed there for a little bit more. Then I catch up with her in Venezuela. Again, I found this job that I wanted to make sure I do. And she finished her school. She said, okay, I would like to go to Japan and explore to see what is Japan. She haven't really...
She said she wanted to. Yeah. What was your feeling?
Well, then I wanted to see where we both wanted to explore an area. So we said, okay, well, let's do this. You go to Japan, you live there for a year. I will stay here for a year. And then we just keep each other and comparing and see where it makes more sense for us to grow as a family. Then after, I would say, 8 months or so, we'd make the decision, okay, I think Japan is the destination. Venezuela, again, it was, even though I was doing what I wanted to do, I still kind of feel that, okay, there's something here that probably will limit my growth if I could stay here. Of course, Japan will bring a lot of more opportunities if we do so. My wife also saw that. So we said, okay, let's then move to Japan.
What year was that?
1999.
1999. Okay.
Yes. So
the bubble had already popped.
Yes, the bubble already popped.
Yes.
But again, it was. I think even that. Of course, today I still feel that was the right decision to make. So we've been here since then, since 1999.
Right.
So I came for a World Cup because it was the soccer World Cup in 2002. And we said, okay, maybe for a couple of years into the World Cup. Listen, I have seen 2 World Cups and an Olympic already, so who knows now? Yes.
Wow. So so you came here. You guys came here in 1999.
Yes, that's correct.
Together, and you've been here ever since.
Yes. So basically, yes. So
and there's something else you told me too that I didn't realize. You're no longer Venezuelan.
Yes. So I just became Japanese last month in April.
And what's your Japanese name?
I actually kept my name. Antonio will be my name, but I will take my wife's last name. So I will be Antonio Kumagai, which is my wife, my family wife. Yeah.
So you're on her toehold now.
Well, now the other way around. So now they all come in my way. Yes. So yes. It's been a very interesting experience because of that, right? So now until now, I actually belong to the family. Now they all had to be moved to my family. So yes. So it's very interesting. And actually, one of the funny things that happened throughout the process is that when you get there and they say, okay, congratulations, you are Japanese. The next step is, okay, you can choose a name. And basically,
don't they give you a book?
Yeah, well, no, they give you a form that you have to fill. And
I know, but don't they have a big book? They used a long time ago. I heard that they had a huge book of Japanese names.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay.
No, well, it may be before,
okay.
But basically, it was basically a blank piece of paper. You can put the name that you like, whatever you like. So of course we start playing with my kids. Okay, what will be my name?
For your last name, okay.
No. You can choose a completely new set of names if you would like to.
For your last name? For your Milji?
For the whole name.
Okay.
So I could change my name to Lansley if I would like to.
No, come on.
Yes,
and they'll accept it.
Yes, I could change it to anything I would like to.
You know who I think we should give credit for that?
Yeah.
Son.
Why?
Because they told him he had to change his name Japanese. He said, "Fine, I'll take my business somewhere else." They said, "No, no, you can keep it."
So it was as flexible as that.
Yeah.
So what will be your name? And so of course, when the question came, I was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, actually, you can choose any name you like." What do you mean? I couldn't really understand what they were saying. I said, "Yeah, any name." So of course, can I come back to you? Then we start talking. Okay, what will be? Then we say, okay, let's stay simple, because again, I wanted to make sure I bring this tribute to my father-in-law, Susana's father, and keeping his last name. I know he will appreciate that. So I say, okay, let's keep the name of Kumagai within the family. He actually passed away 10 years ago or so. Sorry, but I know that he will appreciate that. Her mother still is here. Okay, She's with us here in Japan. But then I knew he will appreciate that. So I said, okay, let's do this. And just let's not make it more complicated. Let's not change the name to Lance. I will change the name to Antonio. So I keep it that way. So it is. I do have a kanji and I have all that. But yes. So I became Japanese.
Do you know when they started? Do you know when they started doing that by any chance?
No, not really. Because
because they didn't used to do that.
No. So we started this process, I would say 2.5 years ago, and I would say it doesn't really take that long, to tell you the truth, but maybe because of COVID, things have become slower than usual. I'm not really sure, but it was 2.5 years or so it took us to get from the beginning until last April 1st when I got they called me and said, okay, everything is when, and so now I'm in the process of getting the passport, which is something that I definitely looking for, because having the freedom to travel with Japanese passport will definitely change. And there are a few other things, of course, that will come from that change.
You can get involved in political things now.
I probably won't, but yes.
You can vote?
I can vote, yes.
That's right.
Yeah, you can participate in the community in a bigger grade, for sure.
So being here, when did the American Club, because that's where I met you.
Yes.
When did that come into existence?
Well,
how long into that?
I've been in the American Club for 17 years, believe it or not. So I've been there for before, middle, and after. And I cannot be happier and glad that I am where I am, and the environment that I've been able to experience throughout the years. I was there when the old building was there in Asabudai, and people start talking about renovations and things like that, and people were saying, you all crazy, this is not gonna happen. We've been talking about this for the last 20, 30 years, and I was the part that said, I think it's happening, I can see that happening. So, and it happened, and so I was there when we closed that building and moved to Takanawa for 3 years, right. And then had the amazing experience of coming back to Asabudai to reopen that. So again, it's been 17 really good years in the club. There are few things that actually connected me with the club a few times, and I think in the last time I talked briefly about it. When I was in this small town going to my hotel school degree, I was taking the bachelor. I got
I remember that T-shirt.
A jacket. So
a jacket.
Yes. So it was that. It was something that, again, it connected me with the. So I was in the university and I went to a secondhand shop.
Now, how old were you then?
I was 18. I was 17, 18.
Okay, right.
So I went to this secondhand shop and I found this jacket.
In Caracas?
In Merida, which was the other city where I went to school, 12 hours away from Caracas. Okay. So I was in this university school, city. And then I got this jacket from a second-hand shop, and it have the Tokyo American Club logo on the jacket, and it says Tokyo American Club in Romaji. So I bought it. I automatically say, okay, I like this jacket, even though I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what the kanji meant. I had no idea about Japan. Then, of course, I had this jacket, and again, Susana, at that moment, a classmate, she saw the jacket, and she realized, oh, wow, that says Tokyo. And then wow, thank you. I didn't even know what it says. So thank you, great. So years passed, and I still had the jacket. Even nowadays, I still have the jacket right now.
Do you know where it is? Do you know where it is?
I have it in my house. Yeah.
Okay, because I want you to take a picture of it and send it to me.
I will. I have the jacket. Yes, of course I do have it. Yeah. Then years passed, and we came to Japan, and the Tokyo American Club came on our way, and that's where we kind of connect the jacket. Say, whoa, that was the jacket that we bought 20 years ago in that small town, in that second-hand shop, and it actually was my wife getting an offer in the American Club. So she actually was able to work in the American Club way before I was, in the year 2001. So she had the opportunity to work in the American club, and we felt, okay, that might be the connection. That will be the end of that connection. Unfortunately or no, didn't work out at that time. She actually moved on into doing something else. And then a few years later, I got also a call from the American club, actually, David Escalante, who we have friends in common, and we have few years of knowing each other. Then he called me up and said, listen, they're looking for supervisors in the American club. Are you looking for a job? And at that moment, actually, I was in between jobs. So I said, yeah, why not? So I came to interview and the whole process, and then I took the job 17 years ago, thanks to the connection with that jacket. So it was that jacket that I actually when I actually had the first connection with the American club.
And you're still close with David because you guys
for sure.
run together.
Yes,
in the morning.
yes. So we run, and we've been running almost 16 years almost together. So.
Now, was that something you liked when you were in high school?
No, not at all. I was never into sports. I never. Yeah,
you were all
never,
academic.
Never.
No, you said more playing games.
Yeah, well, I would say I wish I can say that, but no, I don't know. I was in my things. I was not a sport person at all. My daughter Sara was born 15 years ago. She's almost 16. August she will be 16. So when she was born, I realized that I was really out of shape, and I realized, okay, I would like to be in shape, to be able to grow up with her, to be a better person, so she can see someone who is like healthy, somebody who is ready, full of energy, and who can do things for her and with her. So that was kind of my commitment. I haven't stopped from that day.
And your wife was the same way?
Yeah. So my wife also, she's really, probably again, we both very competitive, but
so
she
had two kids. Did she have these? I'm just curious.
Yes.
Did she have natural birth?
Yes.
And so
as natural as you can imagine.
Okay, so some women, because I watched my wife 4 times have natural birth.
Yes.
But some women, they tend to maintain weight afterwards. Did your wife do that, or she keep herself fit?
I would say as soon as she could get back into shape, she did, and she's right now.
She's always in the
So she's in the some mountains today as we speak right now. She's out somewhere hiking. So she's always looking for an opportunity to basically again to get fit. She goes to the gym every, I think 3 or 4 times a week, and now she's, as I say, she's in the mountain right now. So she's always
by herself.
She's not with some friends. So she have a group of friends that she does hikes every Tuesday. So they're actually in the mountains every Tuesday.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. See, your family's so active. Your wife and you are so very active.
Yes.
No wonder your daughter's mentally and physically as active as she is. Now tell me about your daughter. So, because she has a project.
Well, thank you. So my daughter Sara, during the COVID, during the lockdown, actually, both of them actually are big readers. They like to read.
Your daughter and your son.
Yeah. Sara and Daisuke, they both like to read a lot. It's something that we kind of put into their bases, so they're actually really into that. So during the lockdown in the COVID part of the year, there was no school, there was no public library, the stores were closed, and they were actually running out of books. They didn't have any other books to read at home, and so they realized that, so what we're going to do? We don't have any more books, and Sara got all frustrated about, okay, how can I make this a solution for this? And she also realized that she was probably not alone, that were other people actually looking for books as her. So she said, you know what, we were having dinner one night and she got all frustrated about it, and between Susana and I, we said, okay, what are you going to do about it? And she said, well, you know what, I'm going to open a library. And of course, again, she's 13 years old at that stage, and okay, so how are you going to do that? Let's try to work on ways of doing it. And right there in the dinner table, she put a project together. So, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go around the neighborhood, and I'm going to collect some books. Okay, let's do it. Then that she did. And again, she started doing it with her brother, with Daisuke. They went around the neighborhood with a car and asked neighbors for...
Wait, so you live in a neighborhood where it's all houses. Japanese, right?
Yes.
So she's collecting Japanese books?
She's collecting any kind of books. But of course, Japanese was the majority at that stage. So she went door to door, knocking doors, and so some people opened the door, some people were so afraid.
Do your children speak both English and Japanese?
Yes, sir. So my wife speaks to them only in English,
right? And
I do speak to them as much as I can in Spanish, and they go to Japanese school.
Oh, so they can speak 3 languages?
Yes. So they do. That's what basically we do since they want to. So my wife only speaks to them in English, and I do speak to them in Spanish, and they get the Japanese.
So what's the family language?
That's a great question. Well, it's a lot of mix. We try to avoid to mix it, to tell you the truth. But for example, I speak with my wife in Spanish, And again, I try to speak to the kids in Spanish.
Gotcha.
So that's basically, but because they spend more time with my wife, I would say probably that's the stronger language at home.
What?
My English.
English?
Yeah, because my wife speaks English to them, right? So I think that's the strongest. And also we since they were small, we actually focus on making sure that they watch English movies or English TV series or English music. So there's, until now, we actually have very, very small amount of Japanese media coming to our house, because anyway, Japanese, they will get it from the school, they get it from their friends, they get it from, nowadays they get it from many other places, but when they were small, then we just focused on making sure that the English was actually the first bar, followed by the Spanish, and of course getting the Japanese from the streets. So that's how, so in my house you can, in 3 languages pretty much all the time. So I will be speaking to my wife in Spanish, and they will probably, Sara and Daisuke will communicate with each other in Japanese, and when we interact, they will be either Spanish or English.
That's
yes,
so interesting.
Yes.
So anyway, so you set up the library.
So she went around the neighborhood and collected books on that day, and then we live very close to Tama River in Chofu. So she went to the river with, I would say, around 70 books, 60 to 70 books that she got from the neighborhood. So she brought that in a couple of camping chairs, and she sat down in the river reading the new books that she just found. So people will pass by and ask her, so what are you doing? And she, well, I'm just reading. You want to read? There's some books here, you can read. And my son was with her. So basically they went there by themselves just to read in the river. Then people kind of start noticing they were doing that 3 times a week because there was no school, there was the lockdown, and people were looking for ways to actually get out of their houses, at least to walk by the river. So that was my daughter and my son sitting there with the books. So they start kind of getting attention from people passing by and say, oh, what are you doing? So again, then she started asking for donations. Well, if you have any books at home that you don't use or you don't need, please bring it. And then we just rotate and we give it to people. And there is no really any rules. And I think that's one of the things that actually make it very, very easy for everybody to follow. There's no rules. You can bring a book and take a book, or you can take 5 books and don't bring any books.
How many books do you have?
So at the moment we have around 6,000 books.
6,000?
Yes.
But where do you keep these books?
So, well, our house is full of boxes with books, and we rotate the books to make sure that the customers or the people who use the library get new books very often.
Okay.
So now my daughter had developed this project into the way that actually she's now been working with big companies who support her project. So she's actually being able to do projects in shopping centers. So we bring the books to shopping centers, and again, we let people to take the book, as many books as they want, and we ask for people for donations.
Now how many books does she take to the shopping center?
Okay, so let me just go on 1 second before with shopping center. So the library works right now every Sunday by the river. Sunday by the river.
Oh, so she's still doing that?
Yes, so we continue the library by the river, and that's her foundation of her project. So we keep doing the library, and she's been doing it for 2 years now. So she's been going to the library every Sunday for 2 years.
Okay, but let me picture a minute. She has a little wagon with a bunch of books in it or something? She rolls that to the river?
Yeah, initially it was like that, but now we bring to the library around 1,000 to 1,500 books every Sunday. So the wagon is still there, but it's not enough for where we bring, right?
So how do you get them there?
So we have cars, and I carry a lot of the books, and nowadays we actually even have volunteers to take the books to the river.
Oh, wow.
So we have people who come to my house, and they volunteer themselves to actually do that. Nice. And so we had that. So we take, again, around 1,500 or 2,000 books to the library every Sunday. Right. Now she have a group of regulars who come and talk about, and the amount of connection that she had been able to develop within that community is amazing. There are so many people who actually re-meet, or some people who actually just met because of the books, or people who actually haven't talked to each other for so many years, but now the book is kind of the meeting point again. So
what's she going to do from here?
So then, again, because now so one of the things that she's now being able to develop is basically working with companies, again, that give her space to bring this little library from the river to a shopping center, with the idea that people will take books and, again, connect. That's basically her main point. So we hosted one event 2 weeks ago in a shopping center called La Zona in Kawasaki. And we got, I would say, anything around 3,500 to 4,000 people coming to the library. So that's basically became something that big. So we brought in around 6,000. Yeah, she was there throughout the whole day.
How long was the day?
We started at, the library opened at 10 and it closed at 6.
Okay.
So it was through the whole day, and she organized everything through, because again, there's not much I can help. There's not really much that we can help on negotiations in Japanese, because my Japanese is not that as strong as she has. And my wife, even though we try to help. So there's no reason. So she's doing everything. Okay. So she organized the musicians because it was such a whole day. She organized musicians. She organized volunteers. She organized the books going into the shopping center. So the whole day.
Was this done out by the parking area, right?
No, it's actually inside the shopping center.
Oh, inside the shopping center. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Lazonia.
Yeah. So it's actually they have a big green space. And they have like
circular.
Yes, exactly right there.
Right there, and you can overlook it from the shopping center if you want to, and they have some shops behind it. I know you're talking about. Okay, so that was pretty successful. You said how many people came?
Around 3,000, 4,000 people.
3,000, because they're also right next to the subway or the train
station. Yeah, exactly. That's why it was so successful.
Yeah, have all the people passing through.
Yes. So it's actually coming, and of course.
Did she make an announcement or anything?
Yeah, well, she's been working with this building belongs to me.
I mean, during that time, during the event, did she get on the mic and say?
Because basically, again, if you remember that location, they had 2 big stages for shows, and so they have musicians. She actually contacted some musician friends.
Okay. Do you have pictures? Do you have pictures of it?
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, you're going to give me some pictures. We're going to put that out there.
All right.
So let me ask you this. So she's finished that. What about your son? What's Daisuke doing?
So then yes, then my son Daisuke. Realizing he also in the same area about COVID and people being at home, being able to reconnect, and he realized how much impact the library have had for people to being able to reconnect. While we are all talking about social distancing and all that, and so he said, okay, what can I do to bring that reconnection or to connect people again? We have books at home, so he actually wanted to have a safe space where people can come and just relax and read books and hopefully connect. So he went to the city hall in my city asking for empty houses. You know, unfortunately in Tokyo there's a lot of empty houses around, especially in the suburbs. There's a lot of empty houses. So he wanted to see the possibility to get one of those empty houses to run, again, a safe space where people can go there to read the book.
For kids?
For anyone who is looking for a safe space to read. Somebody where there is no pressure, where you can just walk in and if you want to talk, it's fine. If you don't want to talk, there are the books there and there's free coffee here, there's free tea here, just do what you think you are.
So what happened?
So he went to the city hall and of course they all, no, that's impossible, that's not safe, how can we do this, etc. So of course the first answer was no, it cannot be done. Being the family that Susana had put together and the way that we've been trying to make sure that we encourage on doing those kind of things, my wife say, okay, you know what we're gonna do? Instead of going through the government, we are going to do it at home. So Daisuke is being open in my house for now, I will say this 4-6 months, 2 times a week. So my house is basically open.
How many people come?
Depends. I would say 10 to 15 people a day. So he opened on Tuesdays and Thursday. My house again the door is open. There's a sign that says
what's the age range?
Well, it depends on the time. Sometime in the morning we get people who don't like teenagers who don't go to school or actually grown-ups that actually want just to read and talk to other people and don't really have the opportunity to do so freely.
But have they all been basically Japanese?
We do have few mixed families, I will say, but yes, the majority of them are Japanese. But then again, we haven't been able to see connections in between people that will never connect if they don't have the opportunity to do it.
You said you have seen?
I have seen.
You have seen?
Yes.
So have you had any issues there?
Never. We have no issues at all. Then my family, because I'm most of the time working. I only been in the cafe maybe 3 times since they opened for the last 6 months because I normally work on those days. No issues at all. But now because they've been open for 6 months, one time someone from the government came and saw the living room. That's what the name of the project for my son is. Our living room. It's our living room open to anybody. So they saw what my son was doing and how great it was for people who actually have issues on connecting with others or talking to others or really just feel free to do it. Then my son, the government approached my son now. I said, listen, we have a house.
How old is your son?
14.
14, okay.
So he's about to move to the house. So finally in our neighborhood. Yeah. So the government now have found a house that they are going to actually give to Daisuke and a group of people who actually have different projects within the neighborhood to be able to do what he's doing in this empty house.
And these other people will be able to do what they're doing as well.
Yes, exactly. So it's a house. It's a 2-floor house. So the 2-story house. So they will be able to. Daisuke will be able to run his cafe again, with the same approach as we're doing right now, free for all, and people can come in.
So there's no expense to Daisuke?
No. All that we get is donations. So basically, we get donation from the food bank for coffee or tea or juices. Or sometimes people come and say, "Listen, I have some juices for you." So
what does your daughter need now for?
So unfortunately, few months ago, we have an issue with our car dealer, and we lost our car. Long story that I don't want to go into details, but we lost our car. So of course that was kind of the major part of both projects, because we use that car to move books around, to get donations, and to basically move the books to the library or to events that we have. We use that car to go to the food bank and get donations from that. Unfortunately, we don't have that car anymore. So initially I was trying to approach anyone who was willing. My daughter's approach was actually anybody who was willing to use a car that is being unused right now. Somebody have a van or somebody have a truck that haven't been used for a while and is willing or happy to give it away to an organization or to a project like my daughter and my son.
So how would they get this? Are you going to give me all that information? So
yes, I can get all that information.
So I'm going to take that information and put it down on this podcast. Not that we really do things like that, but I don't.
Well, thank you.
It's not a fact that I haven't done it before either. So we'll put that down so people can see where they can donate.
Yes.
A van, which I'm sure there's some people must have a van. Maybe one of the dealerships are going to do it or something.
I was feeling that was the case, right? So my daughter wanted to make sure that we use something that is not being used. So to recycle something, the easy way is probably to ask for money, but we wanted to stay away from that at the beginning, at least to try to see if we can use something that is not being used.
Maybe asking for money. Well, anyway, I don't know how we're going to set this thing up. I mean, the podcast as of yet. But asking for money wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure. That might be the next step. Of course, it will be easier. But because again, I think there will be an organization, because it doesn't have to be. We're willing to work with any organization that say, okay, listen, if we donate that van or truck and you put our foundation name, so we're willing to work that way.
What's the name of your foundation?
So there's two projects. One is called Book Swap, like the Book Swap. So Book Swap Japan, that's Sara's project. And Daisuke's project is called Our Living Room. Both of them are pretty active in Twitter and Facebook and all that, so you can find both of them very easy.
I might have to get them on someday. Now back to you.
Yes.
What are you doing from this point on? What do you find yourself doing now?
You know, I now work in, as we covered before, I work in the American Club. So I'm now working in Nihonbashi, which is our satellite location. We just opened a satellite location, first time ever for the club.
Well, actually on the podcast, we did one where you gave me a tour.
Yes, exactly, that's correct.
You gave me a tour, so I'll make sure that's connected to this podcast.
Yes, that's correct.
So people can see
the
tour you gave me.
It's a great facility, and learning a lot. I was given the chance to become a service manager, which actually gave me a chance to not only work in the restaurant, which is something that I've been doing in the club for now 16 years, but now also oversee the fitness center, and I also oversee the reception.
Oh, you see over everything?
Yeah. So now I oversee the whole club in that area. Right. So, and service-wise, so I've been learning a lot on how to improve things, also not only restaurant related, but how can I improve the experience in the fitness center that I never done before. Right. How can we make that area better? So again, it's something that now I'm trying to make. I feel a lot of passion for what I do. So, but how can I make that passion into action and see where it can take me further? So I'm looking for that opportunities also to see how I keep learning from the club. Again, I've been so blessed to be able to work in the club, and the club has been so good on me, offering me so many different opportunities, like the one I'm doing now. So I will be glad if I can keep working on how can I improve the experience.
I always end the podcast by asking this question.
Yes.
And I want you to try to answer it. What do you consider a good life in Japan to be?
Wow. I the one I have, I have to tell you the truth, and I want to be humble about it. But I feel very happy to be where I am in Japan. It's being alone and hard work, but I actually feel that it's a safe place. It's a place that I feel my family feel really, really identify, and we can grow. We try so many different things in this country. We strive from zero and grow and broke everything down again and try again, and been in that situation several times, which I don't think there's many countries that actually you are able to do so. I feel quite safe. I feel really, really happy to be able to contribute, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to become Japanese, also to see how can I contribute more. Can I be part of, I probably won't participate in politics, but how can I be part of being able to vote, being able to serve, being able to do all the things for my community, for my family. So I think life in Japan for us is been very, very generous in the way that we are able to actually impact our communities and at the same time impact our family, because every Sunday when we take the books to the library, it's tiring. Carrying 2,000 books to the library, to the river is very tiring, but every time we close the library, we feel so much satisfaction of doing something like that. Every time we close Daisuke's Cafe on a Tuesday evening after we spend the whole day greeting people in and out from my living room, and we are able to close that door for the night, we feel, wow, it was such another great day for us, for the community. So I think that's why it's good life in Japan.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. All of you watching this podcast, remember, it's all on loan, so continue to reach for the stars because you're too blessed to be stressed.